Hello indie game fans! A good week of new indie games awaits us, with July looking to round off quite nicely next week as well, but we do have some long-awaited games and a surprise or two in this edition of Indie Gaming this week. Let's begin with Fallen Knight, an action platformer where you play as a futuristic robotic version of the Knights of the Round Table, having to save the city from a terrorist organization. Needless to say, some strong Mega Man vibes with this, although the focus is on melee, but the developers do cite Dark Souls as an inspiration with the ability to parry attacks. Interestingly, there are multiple endings depending on how you play, if you parry and disarm enemies versus outright killing them, so there are some interesting details in this all-action title. One of the more cerebral titles of the week is Song of Farca, a crime procedural title that's taking inspiration from Black Mirror. Playing as a private detective under house arrest in a cyberpunk future, hack into cameras and online accounts in order to get the information that you need to solve the case. This comes to us from the developer of Safecock, a mob boss simulator with anthropomorphic animals, which is interesting, so I am curious as to their next title. If you know me, you will know that I'm a fan of giant monsters, from Pacific Rim to Godzilla, Rampage to Into the Breach, so of course, Gigapocalypse got my attention. It's a side-scrolling city-destroying game, having more in common with Rampage than the other titles that I mentioned, but does appear to be some sort of auto-runner where you're timing the use of your abilities. There are RPG mechanics with unique skills and ability unlocks for each monster, mutation options, and even Tamagotchi-style minigames as you take care of your creature. It will be releasing in early access, but the full version should have 9 monsters to choose from, so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. I'll admit, I'm pretty impressed with the look of Existensis. Not exactly my favourite art style, but the hand-drawn art does look amazing, combined with the watercolour look. It's an exploration-adventure platformer without enemies, a health bar or fall damage, more about exploring this vibrant world as an artist to get inspiration for your greatest piece of work, looking to be a chill, meditative experience that's just so pretty to look at. If you love beautiful games, smack that like button and subscribe for a look at even more in the future. An interesting looking simulation title is Natural Instincts, one that has you experiencing the wonders of nature, protecting the environment and the animals within as they deal with human presence and environmental disaster, and does also have a fantastic fake David Attenborough in this trailer.
This is the story of the European forests. A place filled with magnificent creatures, where we'll discover a tale of life blooming all around us. A fascinating story about the hunters and the hunted. About a world endangered by those who should protect it. Where you have the power to shape the future of the animals that live within. Discover the stories never seen before. Experience the nature in its purest form. Give hints to the animals and show them how to act. Become the leader of the wildlife. And when humans pose a danger to their home, help them survive. Unleash your natural instincts.
Some very interesting bigger games of the week, beginning with Pokemon Unite, a MOBA of all things which does seem to be of interest. I was way into Dota 1 back in the day, and then played a fair bit of Heroes of the Storm, and do like to watch the International every year, but never got into League, and am definitely not deep in the esports scene, but to see my favourite monster taming franchise being made into one of these sure seems neat. Pokemon are able to evolve mid-match, with some interesting translations of their attacks and abilities into MOBA-worthy skills, where the core focus does seem to be a basketball-like scoring of points rather than destroying the opponent's ancient. Looks great as well, so let's see how this does. The fourth entry in the action tower defense series, Orcs Must Die, makes its way to Steam and consoles, after being a Stadia timed exclusive for a year, looking to be more co-op fun for fans of the genre. And while the studio is technically independent, it's a 50-person team, so I've grouped them under bigger games of the week.
Relentless, hungry, adaptable, and ever-evolving, the Tyranid threat on Balfora is as extensive as it is diverse.
Warhammer game number 10,001 is Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, a classic turn-based strategy title that uses the legendary IP. Being a strategy title, this of course is being published by Slytherin and focuses on just two factions, the Blood Angels Space Marines and the Insectoid Tyranids. Looks alright and is one for strategy game fans.
With their flesh-borer weapons. The enemy distracted, Tyranid warriors engage the enemy with deadly acumen. While not as numerous as their gaunt brethren, they provide synaptic leadership to the Tyranid swarm, while also being powerful combatants in their own right. The Gene Stealer, however, has an intelligence and cunning all its own, and requires no such leadership. Able to slunder any foe with its powerful claws, they are forever seeking a short-range engagement they are almost certain to win. When these forces are not enough, the Tyrannofex can be called on to rise to the challenge of the most grueling combat environments. Hulking above its brethren, its sheer size allows it to fire its devastating bioweaponry over most obstacles. But there is far more to the Tyranids than the mere strength of its numbers. Lurking below the unwary, the Trigon awaits its moment to strike. Armed with massive claws and towering taller than any foe, its cleaving attacks will crush through even the thickest of armor. Some say there are bigger, more vile, more repulsive threats that lurk in the ranks of the Tyranid swarm. Only the brave or foolish would care to find out for certain.
Let's kick off smaller games with Cotton Reboot, an arcade horizontal shoot 'em up that released in Japanese arcades in the 90s, getting a remaster, and is releasing on Western storefronts this week, looking to be another classic must-play for fans of the genre. An interesting first-person RPG of the week is Disturbing Forest Demon's Path, a classic high fantasy entry which does have a rather generic description on Steam, but I think that this should be a free title, so why not give it a go. Duamo is a sleek-looking puzzle game that has you placing blocks in order to form a square, where placing blocks does actually push the entire pile, looking to be deceptively simple but sleek as well due to the visuals. Special mention goes to the horror visual novel Grey Lucidity, coming to us from a developer from Bali, Indonesia, where Indonesian horror is something else, making it worth a look.
Today was insane. We almost look like a band.
Nathan.
I hate your music!
An adorable arcade puzzle title is Indigo 7, which is a musical adventure of love and friendship, looking adorable and getting PC and console versions this week after previously releasing on Switch.
Welcome to Indigo 7! Let the battle begin! Wow, what a ship! That's what I call rock and roll! Love your music, baby! Party time! Get ready, come on!
A great-looking first-person adventure title set on board a space station is Interregnum Chronicles Signal, one where our character and the onboard AI receives a mysterious signal and have to figure it out while exploring the station. Last Stop is a supernatural adventure game that is being published by Annapurna, so that name alone gives it some weight.
This is crazy.
We need to move him. Let's get him inside, out of sight.
Are you a human being? Like me?
Come a little closer.
You two, we're made for each other.
I just want my body back.
So I feel like I haven't properly explained this. Are you okay travelling to the other side of the galaxy?
I read the brief.
We're making history here, Lena. Resources, technology, culture. This is the next frontier. I'm counting on you, Mina.
All right, I'll get the job done.
Dad!
This is not your fault. If it's anyone's, it's mine.
I think I've made a terrible mistake.
If you want my help, you only have to ask.
I gave up everything.
Come on, Hughes. This is it. Don't you want to know what's on the other side?
I mentioned mini Motorways in my preview of the month, but then realised that it was actually a PC port of a previous Apple Arcade exclusive, but for how great this looks and that it's from the developer of Mini Metro, this gets a spot. An interesting obstacle avoidance driving title is MouseBot Escape from the CatLab, where you control a mechanical mouse car, having to collect G's and avoid traps as you go along. There have not been many competitors to Ubisoft's Trials series, so I do think that Urban Trial Tricky Deluxe Edition is of note, getting PC and console versions after previously launching on Switch. Our final smaller title is Where the Snow Settles, a moody adventure exploration title set in the snow. It's an adventure of self-discovery and growth as our protagonist journeys across an ever-changing landscape due to the encroaching frost, looking to set the mood right and looks pretty impressive. Let's kick off the top 5 with Super Semi-Roll, a 3D platformer that looks wonderful, where I'll admit that I was drawn in by the animated trailer at the start, which does not overstay its welcome, so indie developers take note. I do think that this trailer is pretty well paced. You play as a little dinosaur lizard thing, having the ability to curl up in a ball and to roll, as well as the use of your tongue as a grappling hook, both of which are used in the very fluid looking platforming. love the design of the overworld level select map as well, with there being a variety of levels and game modes, so if you're craving a good 3D platformer in 2021, this is one to watch.
The horrible dome ensnared us all, scorching, forcing us into the depths.
I mentioned the roguelite deck builder Deepest Chamber during my coverage of the Steam Next Festival, where this does look grotesque, grimy and brutal, but with the expected deck building elements, I'll leave you to the publisher for the details.
At its core, Deepest Chamber is a deck building card game with roguelike elements. You play as a raggedy crew of individuals, tasked with escaping from the bowels of a dying fantasy world where everyone and everything is out to get you. Mechanically, it draws inspiration from a lot of games in the genre, whether they be physical deck building card games such as Ascension or Dominion, or digital variants such as Slay to Spire. But that doesn't mean Deepest Chamber doesn't bring its own mechanics into the mix. So let's talk about what you can expect from the game. There are 4 card types, each representing one member of your party: Warrior, Priest, Thief, and a Mage. Each card has an energy requirement and a place in your deck. Cards can be used to attack enemies, defend yourself, and place buffs or debuffs. There are a lot of interesting card combinations out there, ensuring that no 2 runs will ever be quite the same. The enemies in Deepest Chamber aren't shy about showing their intents either. That means you'll have to carefully strategize your next move, taking into account what the enemy is about to throw at you. Once you vanquish all the enemies, you get to select a card, a potion, a trinket, or all 3, depending on the type of chamber you were in. Potions can come in handy when the going gets tough, giving you some welcome buffs and bonuses when used in a pinch. Trinkets, on the other hand, provide pretty strong passive abilities, which stick with you for the remainder of your run, so make sure you choose them wisely. As you continue on your quest, you'll face different types of enemies and chambers. Some bite a chunk out of your health, others make you weak, and some even set a pesky timer you have to beat in order to continue. Like with everything in Deepest Chamber, you'll have to carefully plan every step in order to proceed to the final chamber, which we'll be keeping a secret for now.
Perhaps you are the hero the lady foretold. Perhaps not.
It can't be too late. It can't be.
One of the most amazing looking games of the year, let alone the week, is Chris Tales, the long in development time-bending JRPG that allows you to play in the past, present and future all at the same time. Gather your allies to stop the powerful Time Emperors from rewriting the future, battling enemies and making decisions along the way. The turn-based combat is the most interesting aspect due to the time manipulation, where you can warp enemies into the past or future, so I expect that people will need some time to wrap their heads around those mechanics. Amazing, vibrant art as well, where another great aspect is that this is from a Colombian developer, showing how truly global indie games are.
No matter where you may find them, all of our abilities will be tested.
Time to use your new skills!
We'll need to uncover our enemies' secrets and work together to defeat them. If we're successful, the choices you make along the way will rewrite the future. Know the past and determine the fate of the world. I hope you're ready for this.
The biggest surprise of the week has to be the early access release of Samurai Gun 2, the multiplayer action title along the lines of Towerfall or Duck game, where, put simply, you play as a samurai with a gun. Amazingly, the first game was released 8 years ago and was criminally overlooked as compared to the games mentioned earlier, so the sequel perhaps is a second chance for this franchise to take off. It's dripping in style as well, and as per the video on Shovel Knight on Sunday, is ripe for a crossover or two. And of course, I'm most excited for the release of Death's Door this week, an action-adventure title where you play as a Crow Grim Reaper, chasing after an assailant that stole the soul that you were meant to collect, tracking them into a realm untouched by death. It looks fantastic with super slick action, vibrant worlds, and even impressive use of contrast and monochrome when the time is right. There are NPCs to help, bosses to fight, and secrets to uncover, making it the no-brainer pick of the week, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos, and I will see you after the jump.